Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Tuesday night, December 20th, 2022, and I'm at the laundromat because that's my life. Boring as hell. But this is the pilot episode for the NyteTime podcast. Want to welcome you all. You're going to hear a lot of weird stuff. The opinions of an old fat white man. Some of you may agree or disagree with the things I have to say. Some of you may find me funny. Some of you may find me abrasive. You may find me vulgar at times. I can be facetious, sarcastic, curt. Sometimes I get to the point on things, and I will take roads less traveled. But I will always be honest with you, and I will tell you like it is, the way I see it. First thing is, my name is Matt Higgins, and I live in Ankeny, Iowa, the Midwest of the Midwest, where I'm one city away from Des Moines, which is the capital, and between the two cities, there's a bar about every 3 fucking blocks. So I think we might be one of the drunkest states in America. I don't know. But at least you know where you're getting what you're getting from me. You're getting a pretty middle view on a lot of things. I may lean left politically, but there's a lot of stuff that I will agree with on the conservative side. I really don't support either political party anymore because they're both failures, each for different reasons. But what I can say is, while I'm starting to identify as an independent, Democrats are the more sane of the two political parties. But I also heard a pretty good turn of phrase. It was from a Jello Biafra spoken word album, and I can't remember if he was quoting somebody or not, but he said that Republicans are on the outside what Democrats are on the inside. Now, you can take that for what it's worth. It's kind of a cynical view, but probably not that far from the truth. The difference is between the two parties is I do actually believe Democrats care about people. They go a little overboard sometimes on the shit they do, but Republicans seem solely interested in gaining and keeping political power without governing. Like, they don't do anything. Mitch McConnell is the poster child for continuous power over a party without accomplishing jack shit. And to be fair, hey, if you don't take a position on anything straight up, or you don't try and get things done, they can't call you a failure because you never tried to do anything to begin with. If you don't do anything, you can't fail at it. And I will give the Republicans that. They play that card very well. Democrats will fight and die on hills all the time. Some of them are stupid, but they try. And yes, they lose a lot, but I can respect that a little bit more than just sitting on your ass and doing nothing and somehow convincing half of the population that you're good for them. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm going to talk about a lot of things. I'm going to talk about, world news, local news, sports, movies, entertainment, music. I'm going to talk about all kinds of stuff and give you my thoughts on them. And, you'll either like it or you won't. If you don't like the first episode, that's fine. Production value is shit on this because I'm starting out with a microphone and a cell phone. And that's what I got. And I'll shoot an episode once a week. Try to stay up on current events. Try to become a little relevant, because I think maybe I've got some opinions that might help others along, because I do believe that a lot of people are in the middle on a lot of issues. I think the extremists obviously get the most press because they're the loudest and they say the most insane shit, but I think a lot of us can compromise on certain things. And what I mean by that is we can see both sides of an issue, and we can say to one another, hey, if I were in charge and you were in charge and we could have a civil discussion, maybe we could compromise, which is what used to happen more or less in government right up until maybe, I guess, 10, 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. And we hit a certain point in politics where it caught up with our societal viewpoints on certain things. And what I mean by that is winning at all costs. Winning is everything. How often do we beat that into our kids in whatever they do? Yes, there are some people that say, you tried your best. Winning isn't everything. It's the lessons you learn along the way, and which is all true. But you've got a lot of extreme fucking hardcore people out there that will tell you, well, hey, if your mom and dad tell you that trying your best is all that matters, whether you win or lose, they suck. They're losers. They don't know what they're talking about. Winning is everything. And technically, they're right. But you keep fostering that and beating that in to your children, eventually they grow up and let that bleed into other areas. Like winning is everything. Nice guys finish last. So why wouldn't that eventually work its way into politics? Why wouldn't that eventually manifest as, okay, I got to pick a team, I have to pick a side, and they have to win at all costs. I'm a Democrat, so everything the Democrats do is good and everything the Republicans do is bad. And every time that we can get a win, it's in their face. And every time the Republicans get a win, it's bad. Regardless of whether or not the policy they create is actually good or bad for the people, if your party didn't come up with it, it's bad. Even if it's good for the people. And both parties are guilty of that. Guilty as fuck. Now, does everybody think like that? I hope not. Because if they do, if the country is really that divided and really that tribal and win-oriented, we have begun the downslide of this society. And lots of people have said that before me, and they would be right. For different reasons, you can make all kinds of arguments as to why America it was a novel idea. It had a good run. We tried, but ultimately, because humans inhabit positions of power, those positions and that power, it gets corrupted. It's just human nature. So, what I would say is, we need to start coming together and stop letting politicians tell us what to think. Stop letting them make us afraid of shit that isn't real. Stop letting them lie to us about what's important and what isn't. Now, there's a multitude of issues that would illustrate that point. And I'm going to pick a really important one. Whether you agree with me or not, this is how it is. Abortion. Abortion is a hot button topic, if not the hot button topic in the country. Now, I am of the opinion that it is a woman's choice on what happens with her body. The baby's growing inside of her. It is her decision what to do with it. Now, am I an absolutist on that? No, because there is nuance for everything. Up to a certain point, it's what I would consider not a full baby growing inside of her. We have to be able to reach a halfway point where once the baby has reached a certain maturity level inside the womb, fully formed, is basically got everything it's supposed to have, and it's just finishing its gestation period, the final growth in size, so that it can handle being outside the womb. We have to agree that there's a point where that happens. And up until that point, within reason, a woman should be able to have an abortion if, let's say, the baby's health is an issue or the mother's health is an issue, and it should be between the doctor and the mother. The husband, or the father, I should say the father can have some input. I believe he should have some input, but it's ultimately just input. It's still the woman's decision. She can take his advice and the information he wants to provide into account, and then it's still up to her and the doctor. So, up to 3-4 months maybe, you decide you don't want the baby, then don't have the baby. Have the abortion. Especially if it's early on. Just because it's got a heartbeat does not make it a fully functional animal. Okay? As soon as it has a heartbeat, if you take it out of the womb, is it going to live or die? It's probably going to die, right? Because it's still a big bloody loogie with a heartbeat. That's all it is. So you can call it baby killing if you want. I don't give a shit if that's what gets you hard. But it's not. It's not. And people sometimes say to me, well, what if your mother had an abortion? How would you feel? Well, first of all, you're not phrasing the question correctly, because if I was aborted, I would know nothing. I would not experience anything. I wouldn't have a fucking opinion. I wouldn't be here. How could I be mad at that? It's like being afraid of dying. Yes, you can be afraid of the process, but I'm not afraid of being dead, because I'll be dead. I won't fucking know it. So I don't care. It's the same thing, with the abortion stuff. Well, if I had been aborted, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have an opinion. I wouldn't care. It doesn't matter to me. I have no memories from the womb, and I'm pretty sure nobody else does either. So you can't tell me that those are some of the best years of your life, and you're killing something that's going to go through pain and suffering and mental anguish because it's been alive for so long. Okay, that's not the case. You're romanticizing it. When they put on a billboard a fully grown, born baby that looks like it's about 6 months old, and then you put anti-abortion shit underneath it because it's cute. No, I want you to put on the billboard what a baby actually looks like at 6 weeks, 8 weeks, a month, what it looks like, and then put your anti-abortion shit underneath. It won't have the same effect. Okay? This is one of those things where we do need to desensitize ourselves from certain things. Quit letting them lie to you. It's propaganda. Now, after a certain point, the baby is fully formed. It's now just growing in size so it can maintain a healthy life outside of the womb. That point happens pretty far down in the pregnancy. I'm guessing at least halfway. I haven't done complete research on it, and I don't need to because I'm not a woman, so it's not my fucking choice. But after a certain point, I will entertain the argument and go along with you more than likely on if you've gone this far and the baby gets to this certain development point and then you decide you don't want the baby, it's too late. You got to have the baby. That's compromise. That's what I'm talking about. After a certain point, that baby can be viable outside of the womb. Now, it may, if it's a couple months early, it may struggle. It may need a lot of medical help, but it's fully formed enough that it has a fighting chance. So, if an abortion has to happen past that point, it either needs to be because it's a medical issue for the mother, she might not survive, or it's a medical issue for the baby, it might not survive. There's your compromise. I think if you asked a lot of women and doctors, I think that would be agreeable. I don't give a fuck what your religion says. Religion shouldn't play a part in it at all anyways, because from what I read of the Bible and the year I studied it in college, God's responsible for a whole lot of death. I'm pretty sure when he flooded the earth the first time, he was upset with humanity. Didn't bother to explain to him why. Just decided that, fuck it, I'm going to kill everybody because I'm sorry I ever created man. He wiped out everybody. And then at the last minute, I'll save Noah and his family and let them repopulate the earth through incest again. So, and then, hey, God killed his only son for us. I'm not going to get into the religion shit tonight, but hey, he aborted pretty late, did he not? 30, how old was Christ? 32, 33 years old? That's a long time out of the womb to abort. So, it's not like religion should have a say in this anyways. Compromise. Lock these people in a fucking room, come up with a law that says the woman has a choice regardless up to a certain point, and then after a certain developmental stage, then it's got to be a medical emergency to have an abortion. Simple, done. It's not like we fucking need the people anyways. We have enough people on Earth, okay? We have enough people on Earth. This whole shit of be fruitful and multiply, it's being overdone. We can tap the brakes on that now. All right? So that's where I stand on abortion. And that's the kind of stuff I'm going to talk about and the kind of viewpoints you're going to get. Now, that may not lend itself to a Republican person wanting to agree with that at all just because they think any kind of abortion is baby killing. But that's not my problem. That's not our problem. That's their problem because they don't want to compromise at all. How the fuck are you going to tell somebody, hey, there's something growing inside of you, you don't get to decide what happens to it? Once you become pregnant, you become cattle. That's what you're saying to the women. Okay? Talk about being a second-class citizen. Talk about not having equal rights or an equal say. That's your body. And don't throw the vaccine shit at me because it's not the same thing. It's not the same argument. All right? You can't catch pregnancy from being around a fucking pregnant person, you moron. You can catch COVID or the flu or whatever the fucking virus decides it wants to jump from one body to another that day. Vaccines help stop that. This particular vaccine lately, the COVID one, isn't functioning the way it should have, as in it doesn't stop you from getting it, but it does raise the chance significantly that you won't die from it. I still say that's a win-win. Okay? So it's not the same argument. Don't come at me with dumb ass thoughts that you should think and not say out loud. Okay? It's like the whole hammers kill 400 people a year. Should we ban hammers? No. We should ban the guns that are killing multiple people at once in a short amount of time. If you ask me, you have a choice. A guy shows up at my daughter's school, and she's out of school now. She's a fully functioning adult, smart, witty, responsible, intelligent, perceptive. I raised an awesome daughter, totally by luck. She turned out a lot better than she should have, considering who her dad was. But who would you rather show up at your daughter's school? A guy with an AK-47 or an AR-15 and a bag of ammunition, or a bag of fucking hammers? I'm going to choose the guy with the hammers 100 times out of 100. Okay? Why? Because it's going to be really hard to kill a bunch of people all at once with a fucking hammer, even if he's got multiple hammers. Okay? If nobody can pile on that prick and take him down before he kills more than 2 people, then Darwin was going to get some of those guys anyways, even if they were kids. Okay? Kids have a much better chance surviving the hammer attack than the gun attack. Quit being stupid. Stop arguing stupid points. I can't take you seriously and have a discussion about compromise if everything that comes out of your mouth is a fucking pendulum swing to the insane. Okay? You're not helping yourself, and you're not helping society. You're not. Come to me and come to me and go to others with intelligent debate, intelligent opinions. Just because you have an opinion doesn't mean it's good or valid. You have the right to have an opinion. You don't have the right to have it validated, okay? Hitler had a lot of opinions. Just because he has the right to have an opinion, does that make them valid? No. Sometimes there are wrong opinions. I get it. The definition of opinion is just how somebody feels about something. But you know what? You can feel wrong about something. It's okay to say that. It's okay to say, yeah, my dad's opinion is, and because he's an older generation, my dad's opinion is black people suck, white people are better. I'm not saying my dad feels that way. I'm using that as an example. Well, that's a shitty opinion, and it's the wrong opinion, okay? There's no superior race. Regardless of how you were brought up or what bullshit's been fucking shoved into your brain from when it was tiny and incapable of creating questions and arguments against such a thing as white supremacy or ethnocentricity, that opinion sucks. It's the wrong opinion. Women shouldn't have the right to vote. What do you want me to say? You got a point. That certainly is a discussion that we could have. No, there's no discussion to be had there. I'll listen to what you have to say, but on certain things like that, I'm not going to fully entertain it seriously. You can have your say. I'll listen to whatever bullshit you want to spew, but understand that if it's way the fuck out there past Pluto, I can't help you. So, you'll have to forgive me for becoming passionate about certain things. I hate stupidity. Ignorance is being devoid of having the facts. You don't have the facts. Ignorance means you don't know. Okay? You don't have the data to help form your opinion. Stupidity is knowing what right and wrong is, and knowing what's correct and incorrect, and knowing what's insane and what isn't insane, but still doing the wrong thing and saying the wrong thing and thinking the wrong thing. The Holocaust didn't happen. Yeah, you should probably just keep that to yourself. The Holocaust happened. I'm pretty sure that it was well documented, and enough families were touched by that. That's a wrong opinion. I'm sorry. You see what I mean? There can be wrong opinions. I want to help. I want to help us get to a point where we can look each other in the eye and talk about things and say the things that we need to say without feeling like a crazy person, or feeling like we're having to defend a position that's indefensible. Why is Trump so fucking popular? I mean, let's look at that. 73 million people voted for that son of a bitch? Twice. People saw what he did for 4 years, and all the years before that, when he was just a con man without political power, and said, yeah, I'd like 4 more years of that. Total fucking insanity. He hates people. He's never cared about anybody in his life, ever. And he's never lied about it. He's never tried to hide who he was. He'll say he cares about America and he cares about the poorly educated, which in that instance he does, because they're the ones voting for him. But why is he so popular? I don't get it. Well, you can argue that people are tired of politicians in general just being failures and useless, and I wouldn't disagree with that. However, the most important position, arguably, in the country is the President of the United States, and of the free world, for that matter. And you elected a fictional fucking character to hold that position. And your argument is, well, we needed to try something different. We needed somebody new, somebody who wasn't a politician, somebody from the outside. Yes, well, okay, mission accomplished. You elected the most inadequate, unskilled, ill-equipped, dumbest, egotistical, egocentric, megalomaniacal son of a bitch you could possibly find. The least qualified person, okay? You did it. You got him for 4 years. And he was a fuck-up for 4 years. Now, you can say my opinion's wrong, and I can understand why some of you would say that, because you've been so fucking brainwashed that, well, I picked that team, so that team's got to win no matter what insane shit he says or does. I got to stick with it. Trump's the outsider. You understand that the only reasons he took that position to begin with was A, he did nothing but bust Obama's balls, and Obama made him look like a fucking idiot. And that made him mad, and that hurt his feelings, and that made him run. And then secondly, it was an opportunity for him to enhance his brand, make more money, game the system. That's it. That's all. He gave zero fucks about you. Okay? I don't know what else to tell you. I'm sorry that you can't put 2 and 2 together. I'm sorry you can't see through the horse shit. I'm sorry that you've become so disenchanted with the political system and the horseshit actors we've elected to the House of Representatives and the Senate, that they're so incapable of doing anything right that you thought Trump was a good idea. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry you were put in that position. I truly am. I understood that a lot of the politicians that have come and gone and are still here are useless. Being a politician in the United States is the best gig if you can get it. Once you're there, it's virtually impossible to lose your job, no matter how bad you fuck up or how little you do. It pays well. There's a lot of horseshit slush money that you get from donations and secret PACs and all this other horseshit. Lobbyists. I mean, it's the best gig in the world. And you get to act like a WWE superstar and say all kinds of crazy shit in public and then privately talk like normal people. But you got to put on a show for the camera so people will keep voting for you. They are actors. That's all they are. There's a handful of politicians that I would say genuinely care and genuinely took the job because they wanted to do good for America. Bernie Sanders is one of those shining examples. Is he the perfect candidate? No. But he has been consistent his entire political career about wanting to do the right thing by the people. For all of the weird shit and bad shit that happened under Obama, I think he genuinely cared. Was he the perfect president? No. Was he probably the best we've had? I would say he's up there, probably top 4 or 5. Certainly ahead of Trump. Trump is one of the worst presidents we've ever had. I'm sorry you like him. I'm sorry he entertains you. I'm sorry you think he's smart. It's a sad place to be mentally. It really is. And I'm not trying to be condescending. It's sad that people got to the point where they thought he was the best viable candidate. Yes, Hillary's probably a monster, but you can't argue the fact that she was the most qualified person ever to run for that position. Holy shit. And she got snaked out of it by a bunch of people that man's lies. So I don't know what else to say about that right now, other than that's just my opinion on the whole Trump thing for the moment. Yes, he's running again. No, he's not going to win. He's not going to win. I don't even think he'll get the party's nomination. But we'll talk about that on another episode as well. And as the shows go, I'll start talking about myself a little bit more, allow you to get to know me, and I'll give you guys an email address probably in the next episode to where you can email me with your questions or thoughts or your hate mail, whatever it is you got to do to let you sleep at night. Or you can tell me how much you love me. I won't hold my breath, but stranger things have happened. I would like to go over a few articles from the news. Now, I've been saving up a lot of them. What I do is if I see a news article that I think needs to be talked about, what I'll do is I'll copy the link and I'll email it to myself, or I'll send it in a message, in a text message, so I can go back later and cover it. So some of these articles that I talk about early on are going to be a little older and maybe not so relevant, but I still think they bear a little bit of coverage. And first of all, this one just caught my eye because it pissed me off. Governor Kim Reynolds and 20 other governors asked President Biden to drop a COVID-19 vaccine mandate for members of the armed forces. Why? Because it's a security risk, because it led to recruiting shortfalls in the armed forces. So I have thoughts. She wants to hold him responsible because we can't defend ourselves because we have people not signing up for the military because they have to get a COVID vaccine. First of all, I've had friends in the military, family in the military, and they've all been forced to get vaccines for everything else and have never had a say in it. It's just something they have to do. They didn't get a choice. Why would they get a choice now for this one? Because you guys made it political? Democrats didn't make fucking COVID political. Republicans did. Because you lied and said it was an assault on our freedom, because you needed something to argue about, because you guys don't do anything. And because we do most of the work as Democrats, you guys needed something. Well, Republicans don't do anything, so we need to just shit on what Democrats are doing so we can make them afraid of it and get their votes. If you don't want to get the COVID vaccine, I don't want you in the fucking military because you're a pussy. You are a pussy communist. Talk about a snowflake. You're willing to go over and kill people for a living in countries that have nothing to do with us. You're not protecting our freedoms, but you're afraid to get a COVID shot. Yeah, I don't need you in the military. And quite frankly, we don't. Who cares if military signups have dropped? We've got the largest military in the world, anyways. You think our national security and the security of our country here and abroad is really going to be affected by a 10 to 15% drop in people that don't want to get a fucking vaccine because they think it's made by the devil or has aborted embryos in it or Satan's sperm in it? I don't want them in the military. They shouldn't have guns. I don't care if they're properly trained or not. Fuck them. Fuck them, and fuck these governors who signed on to this request. You join the military. From what I've seen, you don't get a say in shit anyways. You do what you're told. That's the whole job. Following orders. First order, get your fucking vaccine. You can't handle that. How are you going to handle anything else? So, that's that one. What else we got here? Oh, and Governor Kim Reynolds also, and this is where I'm kind of okay. Like I said, I can agree with some of the conservative points and arguments. There's people in charge, governors, mayors, whatever. They're banning government phones and tablets, computers from having TikTok on them because it's a national security risk because it's owned or run or invented by China, whatever floats your boat that makes you justify it. I'm actually okay with that. And I think it should be taken a step further. I think politicians and government people in general should just be taken off of social media. You don't get to be on social media, period, while you're at work. You want to tweet when you're at home. Get off of the fucking social media and do your fucking job. You want to know why nothing's getting done? It's because everybody's talking shit on social media and trying to govern on social media. That's not what it's for. You guys are hired to do a job, and all you're doing is jerking around on your cellular devices. So, yeah, let's ban TikTok, but let's ban Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of that shit from government tools, government phones, and computers and whatever. Get rid of all of it. That, to me, is the next logical step. You got something to say The news will cover it. And don't start with this fucking social media bias shit. Half of the media is owned by people not even in this goddamn country anyways. So, if you have something to say it on the floor of Congress or in a reporter pool where they can ask questions and you can answer them if it's that important. That's just my opinion. What else we got? Herschel Walker. How sad is it that we had to have a runoff to make sure that dumb son of a bitch didn't get into office? Say what you want about Biden. Biden is old, and he's probably suffering from dementia, and he probably shouldn't be in the position. I can go along with that. Herschel Walker is stupid, like monumentally and dangerously stupid. He is like Biden, but black and retarded. There's a difference. The only reason Trump picked Herschel was because he played fucking football in Georgia, and he thought popularity would get that guy elected like it got him elected. Well, it didn't work out that way, but goddamn it almost did. Sad as that is, I'm not saying Ralph Warnock, is the ideal candidate, but yeah, between him and Herschel, wow, it took a runoff to make sure Herschel didn't get in. That's sad. It's sad. Completely fucking sad. I don't know how else to say it. And it's dangerous and it's scary. But it also goes to prove a point that Republicans don't care about people. They don't care about people. They don't care about governing. They care about power. Getting that power and holding on to it. That's all that was. That's all Herschel was. He was going to be a power pawn. He was going to get a seat in the Senate, keep us at a standoff, and give them an edge. Regardless of him never having a coherent thought, probably in the last 20 to 30 years he's been alive. So, I don't know. It's getting pretty fucking scary out there. What else? Oh, you know what? I'll cover some of these more articles later. What I do want to say, while I'm thinking about it, and we'll end on this note, is while Democrats are trying to do the right thing by people, they also have this uncanny knack of coming up with phrases and terms and words for themselves that Republicans find very easy to turn on us and make us look stupid. A perfect example is defund the police. Wow. I understand the thought behind it, but you phrased it wrong. You phrased it wrong, and you phrased it in the wrongest way possible. Did you not think that would come back and bite you in the fucking ass in a country where people in the majority usually care more about owning a gun than keeping children alive? You didn't think that defund the police might strike some wrong chords with a lot of people? Did you not think you would lose votes over that? That was the dumbest way to say we need police reform and meaningful police training changes. Defund the police was one of the dumbest things ever uttered. And the Republicans used it. They used it They played it like a fucking harp, and everybody fell in line on it. And I can't blame them. They did a great job. Republicans do a great job of making us look stupid. Woke. I hate the fucking word woke. Wokeism, stay woke, wokeness. The idea behind it is great. Believing that the system is inherently fucked up and racist and misogynistic and ethnocentric and xenophobic and whatever else you want to say. Yeah, because the country was founded on old white men who thought that they should be the only ones who could run the government. Right? They didn't think poor people should be allowed to vote. They definitely didn't think black people should be allowed to vote, or women, or any other, gender or nationality. The whole country is founded on a broken system. They had some great ideas. Yes, it was different. But it's also not been updated. It needs to be updated. The Constitution is an old document for old times and needs to be reviewed and renewed. I'm sorry, America's not the greatest country in the world, and that document is not divine intervention. It's not. Stop believing in fucking fairy tales. Santa's not real. Santa's not real. The Tooth Fairy's not real. Jesus is not real. The Founding Fathers were not gods. They were not harbingers for God. They did what they had to do in the time that they had to do it. And I'm guessing, I'd like to believe that they would have thought to themselves, hey, as the country gets older and things get more sophisticated and change with the times, that the people would change and update the document to go along with it. I believe that's why there are amendments to the Constitution. That means it wasn't right the first time completely, and things had to be changed, had to be added, because of the times they are a-changing. Who cares what the forefathers thought back in the day? They were thinking about things back in the day. They weren't thinking about things now. It was a brand new government. It was a brand new experiment. Everything was new. So obviously it wasn't going to be the best thing. It was the first thing they had done. Christopher Hitchens said about the Bible, the explanations in the Bible, it was our first attempt to explain things, and because it was our first, it's our worst. That makes sense, because as time goes along and we learn things and we educate ourselves, we become less superstitious, we understand things better, therefore we can better adapt and change and make society function. When were the Dark Ages? Does anybody remember the Dark Ages? No, because you didn't live through it. But do you remember learning about it? You know who was in charge in the Dark Ages? The fucking religious cults. We need science badly. We need science and common sense badly in this country. And it needs to be forced down our throats because a lot of us are too goddamn stupid to take it willingly. So, the woke idea, yes, the idea behind it is great, but stop coming up with these corny little things and phrases, because once again, Republicans are great at taking that and making other people afraid of it. That's their job. They're good at it. That is what their party is about. Gaining political power through fear. Fear-mongering. The gays are going to destroy marriage in the country. No, they're not. No, they're not. When I was... Technically, I'm still married, but I've been split from my ex for quite a while. Never once did gay marriage or gay people fucking ever come across my mind about how my marriage was functioning. My marriage functioned based solely off of how I and my wife interacted with each other. That's how it works. I didn't feel less married because gay people got the right to marry. That is some of the dumbest shit ever. Snowflake. There's another term. Talk about snowflake. I know the Republicans like to call Democrats snowflakes because we cry about everything because we can't get our way and we can't take arguments. If you're a Republican, a conservative, religious person, and you're married, and some dude gets married to another dude in another state, that suddenly destroys your marriage, the tenets of your marriage, how you feel about your spouse. That's a snowflake. A retarded snowflake, but a snowflake. So, instead of staying woke, how about staying smart, staying sane? Be a harbinger of common sense. I don't know what else to say at this point. I gotta go in and change my clothes from the washer to the dryer because, like I said, that's my life. It's boring. It sucks. But the Holy Spirit grabbed a hold of me and wanted me to shoot my first episode in my car in the parking lot at the laundromat. Go figure. But inspiration is wherever you find it. I don't get to choose where it pops up, and neither do you. So hopefully you have found this educational and entertaining. Like I said, my name is Matt Higgins. This is the NyteTime Podcast. NYTE. Night. Not your typical energy. Because it's not. I'm not going to swing one way or another the whole time. I'm going to hate on everybody. Because everybody needs a little hate right now. It's kind of like tough love. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me and to watch this. Hopefully this takes off. I know that I'm going to get a lot of shit for it. The way it's shot, the way it sounds, the way I look, the way I talk, the way I think, where I live. But, hey, who knows? Maybe I'm just what the country needs. Somebody in the middle who's just going to call it like it is. And I'm not going to be a mouthpiece for one side or the other. And hopefully there's a lot of people like that I connect with. I'm hoping. I have this little ball of hope in my chest that says most of the country actually does feel the way I feel. They're just being whipped into a frenzy to play the game of, I got to pick a team, and my team has to win, or else I'm a loser. That's not how it works. Compromise is everything. Life is a negotiation. I heard that in a movie. I think it was Hoffa. Jack Nicholson played Hoffa. Life's a negotiation. God damn, that's so true. And it makes perfect sense. Compromise, negotiation. Let's get something for everybody so both sides can feel like they're winners, and they can also feel like adults. Let me be that conduit. Let me talk about things plainly and clearly and with some common sense. Decency, you'll get it whenever I feel like giving it. Sometimes I'm going to be really rude and strange, but that's just me. I am a closet sicko, but I'm a good guy. Anybody that knows me would tell you that. So, peace, love, and gossip. Thanks for paying attention. And you guys have a lovely evening. I'll talk to you next week. Bye.